Okay, so let's wrap this up. Go into the app.component.ts and modify the paths in accordance. So the very first modification that I made here, actually I made for testing, it looks like this, but now we need to basically just type in slash account, so our folder account, slash, and then account.model. Press Control S to save. Okay, so that part is done. The next thing that we need to do is go down below and type in import account list from, and we're gonna need like dot account accounts list dot component. Okay, so there we go, and semicolon at the end. Oh man, did I misspell this? List. Right. It's more than one, so it's accounts list. Anyway, that's what you need to do there. I'll explain that in a bit. Actually, let's go over it now. So accounts list, you will find it up here. There we go, export, and it's class accounts list. So we are importing it. And we are also stating where the component actually lies, in which folder, and we are importing that class. Now we'll need one more thing here before we can actually go to our site and have it displayed. It's a directive. So directives, and we're going to need a semicolon, accounts list, and Control S. Okay, so why do we need this line? Well, it's basically a list of directives that we are going to be utilizing. So in order for Angular, within its own template, to look for other components, like our account list that you saw a moment ago, let me just show it to you. Here we go. So like this is basically what we have. So it's accounts list. We have to list the directives here. So they have to be listed here in order to prevent collisions with other components directives that we might have. So you could have tags of the same name, etc. So we want to list the directives here in order to prevent any sort of collision. But you don't need to know a lot about that now. You will see as the project gets more and more complex how does this come to be useful, because it doesn't really seem that useful now. Anyway, so we are effectively telling the Angular to look within its own template for other components with this line. So directives, accounts, list. That's what we are instructing Angular to do now. And you need to go into each one of these folders and just press Control Save to make sure that they are all saved and that the changes have actually taken place. I already did it, so I'm not going to go through it now. And just wait for the site to load. Waiting. Yes, excellent. So you see, it looks exactly the same. There are no differences here of whatsoever. We've simply moved our account list into a separate folder, and it has a separate set of files, and it is a separate component which we can recycle later on without any issues of whatsoever. Now, let me just go ahead and explain another thing here, which I really want to. So you have accounts list tag, and we have created this tag in order to be able to insert the code from the accounts list component .html, so that we are able to insert this entire HTML code there. In order for us to achieve that, we needed to go to the app component.ts and enable accounts directives accounts list. So we needed to do that in order for us to be able to achieve that, and we needed to set a selector here, which is accounts list. Once those two jobs have been done and complete, we can successfully use the tags within the HTML form in order to plug in the entirety of our HTML code. And it's much better this way because you have these tags, and this entire code can be placed within this entire. If you have a huge HTML file like we're going to have, it's going to be rather big. You don't want your entire HTML code to be in a single file. It's very bad. You're not going to be able to go through it that fast that it's going to be very difficult for you to troubleshoot or debug anything. So have these things, have these tags. I've shown you how to create them, how to plug them in, and what it is that you need to do in order to make them functional. So place them here and separate the HTML code. So you see I have one HTML file here, which contains some of the HTML code that is in direct relation to the accounts list. So that is going to be in the accounts list component. But down below, I have my main HTML file where I'm just plugging in things that I have previously separated, making my code a lot more readable and more convenient to go over. Anyway, that would be basically it. We don't have a lot else to do here. We have managed to conduct a successful separation. So in the follow-up tutorials, we're gonna be dealing with some input output, and we will build on this further on the separation. So we will continue going along this way so that we can have neat components one next to another. Each one is in charge of performing its own set of functionalities with its own logic. So bid you farewell.